Live from San Antonio, Mike Taylor.
Hello everybody, we're back again. Yes. Well, I'll be damned. Here we go, Holmes. It is time for Taylor. It is 10 a.m. It is Thursday. It's Fart Drop Thursday, Holmes. Welcome in here. It is Miguelito, Antonito, Taylorito. How you boys doing? It is indeed Mike Taylor Live. Thank you for tuning in to this thing and watching, whether you're listening or watching us live or from the future, which is absolutely possible. And you can watch us or listen to us from the future by becoming a member of this show, subscribing to it on the YouTube page, or listening to it or watching it, whatever you want to do on Spotify. All right. So welcome in here. It is Taylor. I got a guest coming up here in about 20 minutes, which is cool, a good guest. But I thought today we'd start off with a little bit of just get some shit off my chest from training camp, get some Spurs shit off my chest from, because I'm getting hyped for the Spurs, of course. It's now August, and that's 1 month. Flip the calendar, get closer to getting a chance to see that kid play for the Spurs in games that matter. And I know that training camp doesn't start until, first week of October, last part of September, whatever it is. But I'm excited, Holmes. I am. But I have a request for the Spurs, who have called a major press conference today, as it were. Here coming up today at some point, this just came down. The Spurs are going to have a major press conference. What they're going to do is they're going to announce that it's official. Frost Bank is going to put its name on the arena. Bye-bye AT&T Center Arena. Hello, I think it's going to be called the Frost Bank Center, which makes a hell of a lot of sense. It has been all over the streets for, since Monday, maybe Tuesday.
So you mean it's not about somebody getting drunk in a certain Carolina state?
No, it's not about anybody getting drunk. I don't think anybody had a diabetic episode. There's DJ LG, by the way. No one had a diabetic episode that I'm aware of. No one's got a DWI. This is not about the suspension to Devontae Graham, who may or may not even be on the roster by opening day. This is going to announce that we are making more money. And hopefully they'll give a 20% commission check to Victor Wembanyama, because there ain't no damn way that didn't play a factor in Frost making the final decision to put its name on the arena. So here today when they announce that, I don't know if they're going to get asked about that or not. Hey, look, Frost is going to say we love the Spurs. We're a long-time tradition here in San Antonio. We're the official bank of Texas, Frost Bank. It just makes sense that we would put our name on that arena. But you bet your ass, the fact that this thing has skyrocketed in value, they're getting ready to open up, I think, any day now up at La Cantera, the Rock at La Cantera, the new, innovative, state-of-the-art, scientific, all the bells, all the whistles, all the shit. It's almost like Tim Cook may have helped them design this damn building up there. They're getting ready to open that thing, and then you bring this kid in here. Frost is like, that's pretty cool. We're going to get good again. Probably going to be on Natty TV a whole lot more times. Victor Wembanyama, let's go ahead and do it. Pull the trigger, put Frost on the building, and that's a beautiful partnership. That's good. All right. Cowboy stuff. Trayvon Diggs called Dak Prescott a bitch in practice last night. Thought that was fun. There's video floating around out there. Okay, what he said was, I think he said, shut yo bitch ass up. Last night, okay, again, this is training camp, right? We're not going to sit up here and make a big deal about much. They're running around in shorts. Nobody can even tackle Dak. I do love the fact that the shit talk Dak Prescott. That's heat of battle stuff. I want to see that. Trayvon Diggs has got security now because he just signed this long-term contract. I got me a new contract? Cool, I'm going to go fucking cuss out Dak Prescott to announce my presence with authority. So they're doing a goal line drill yesterday up in Oxnard. And it was a passing play trying to get the ball into the end zone, and Dak got flushed out of the pocket and had to go running over to the cone and couldn't get in, and they're not allowed to tackle him, but Dak just basically had to give up the play. And Diggs comes running over and talking shit. First of all, bum ankle or not, Dak Prescott would run little Trayvon Diggs' ass over. If Dak decided to get into the end zone, he would have. But Dak held up, not supposed to hit him. He's not supposed to engage like that. But Diggs still shit-talked him, which I like. I love it. So Diggs comes over and says something. Dak says something back to him, and then Diggs is like, shut your bitch ass up. I like it. I like it. And then Dak, he didn't like throw the ball at him, but he like flipped it in his direction like, fuck you. Love it. Love to see it. Love to see it. There's a preseason game tonight. Cowboys have a preseason game, next week, I think. They need to go hit some other people. The defense is always the one that's the most hungry to like hit people because you're not allowed to just lay some bitches out. You can't be sacking your own quarterback in practice. You really shouldn't be even leveling anybody if you can help it. So they're frothing at the mouth, and you love to see that. Love to see it. Saw a headline today on ESPN.com that I laughed at. It's pure clickbait, and I totally bought it. I admit that. ESPN.com has a piece today asking if the Cowboys are shoo-ins for the playoffs this year. Well, shit, no, they're not a shoo-in for the playoffs this year. It's pure clickbait garbage. It's training camp clickbait. I fell for it, but, what are you going to do? Of course the Cowboys are not a sure thing to go to the playoffs. Nobody else is. No one is. The Chiefs are not a sure thing. They're a pretty good bet, but there's no sure things in the NFL. Even if Patrick Mahomes stays healthy all season, even if Dak Prescott stays healthy all season, ain't nobody a shoo-in for the playoffs because we're talking about the NFL. Of course they're not a shoo-in. Speaking of being healthy, all you can do in the NFL is ask to be relatively healthy. That's all you can ask for. In the NFC East, which was arguably the best division in football last year after being arguably the worst division in football the year before because the NFL's goofy, the NFC East, I think, this year is only going to get better. Let's look at the Giants. Daniel Jones is in his second year in the new system with a new coach, with coaches that know what the hell they're doing. Saquon Barkley, after bitching and calling other people bitch asses all summer, took a knee and got himself humbled, and he's going to go out there on a one-year deal and try to prove the Giants wrong. So they're going to get everything they can out of Barkley. In the land of Joe Biden, where the Commanders play. Hopefully the Commanders are getting ready to change the name of their stupid-ass team because the Commanders are stupid. That organization has a whole new feel to it. And Washington was pretty good last year despite no quarterback. The Commanders are now out of scumbag hell with the Snyders having to sell. Ron Rivera, I love him, not just because he's a Mexican. I just love him. He's got a damn good defense. They've got excellent skill players. And per usual, though, they've got questions at quarterback, but they're going to be competitive as hell. The Eagles are the Eagles. The Eagles are the Eagles, starting with their defense and their excellent head coach, even though the guy's kind of a goofball. I like him. The coach, Cipriani or whatever it is, Cipriani, one of them Italian names. And then Channel View's own, of course, Jalen Hurts, who was an MVP candidate last year. The Eagles are still going to be pretty good. Dallas is going to be pretty good. Ain't nobody a sure thing in the football anyway. Damn sure no sure things in the NFC East. You can make a case for all four teams in the division winning the division. Because at the end of the day, we talking about the NFL. And in the NFL, anything can happen.
What are we talking about?
Anything can happen. All right, what else today? Can we update the playlist? Okay, so since the Spurs are having a press conference today, I have a request for the Spurs. But before we get into that request, let me reintroduce. Oh, he's re-upped. Our sexy commercials, we've talked him back into coming back with us. He's going to stick with us again. Welcome back to the fold, Hank the Realtor. See. What's up, Hank? Hank Perez, the official real estate agent of Mike Taylor Live from Vortex Realty, repping all of San Antonio. He lives and works and plays in Barney and works there too, but works in San Antonio, works in Livonia, works in Castroville, Floresville, all the villes, here a ville, there a ville, where Hank represents all of us in this parts. If you are in the market to sell your home, perhaps, take advantage of this insane housing market that we've got where the housing prices have gone up, and that's because of demand and lack of homes out there. Shit, you may be able to get top dollar for your house. You may have people get into a bidding war for your house. Find out what your property's worth. Let Hank, the realtor, run your comps for you for free. Text him at 300-1121. Of course, the area code's 210. 300-1121, and let Hank, the realtor, run comps on your house, see what the thing is worth. You may wind up making some buku bucks because of our dude Hank Perez at Vortex Realty. It's at Hank Perez. If you need a real estate agent, get the official real estate agent of Thunderdome. Hank, call Hank. Hank. All right. That's why he re-upped. All right. I need something else to be re-upped. Did you go to any Spurs games last year, dude? I didn't go to one.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
We went to the very home opener, didn't we?
No, that was 2 years
Was
ago.
that 2 years ago?
Yes.
That's the last game I went to. Yeah, that's the last game I went to. 2 years?
Yeah, we went to opening day 2 years ago when USA Today said the Spurs were by far going to be the worst team in the NBA, and they beat the shit out of Orlando, and I was talking mess to the USA Today and telling them to stop writing about basketball. That was 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Yeah,
now.
man. So so obviously I didn't it's not that I didn't care about them, but they didn't entertain me at all last year. I'm not in for the rebuilding part. Wake me up when y'all are good, then I'll jump back in. I don't know how good the Spurs are going to be this year. All I know is that if they're still in a rebuild mode this year, which they're still rebuilding, but if I'm gonna have to be forced to watch a team in rebuilding mode, at least allow me to watch, I don't know, the most exciting player to come into the NBA since LeBron James, and that's what we got here. He's a 19-year-old kid. I wonder what he likes music-wise. Knowing him, what little I've read about Wemby, he's probably a fan of like classical music. But probably some Euro trash, some of that. You think he likes Tony Parker's rap music?
Are you just stereotyping him because he's European? And he's like, oh, he's from Europe.
No.
He probably carries a purse and listens to classical music.
Well, no question he carries a purse. What do you call it? Like a merce? A purse for dudes is a merce?
A satchel.
A satchel. No, I think he's a smart lad. I think he's a deep thinker. Deep thinkers tend to listen to all kinds of music. So he probably does listen to that douchey Euro trash, but he probably listens to frickin' Mozart and Beethoven too, even though he's 19. He loves Tony Parker for the obvious reasons. You know how we tend to overrate our own. There's a lot of bands from San Antonio that aren't very good, but we love them anyway because they're homeboys. You know he's got some Tony Parker rap in his phone. That's how Tony raps. But my point is, I think Wemby's cool. I'm not stereotyping. Well, I guess I sort of am. But I'm trying to, like, maybe dysfunctionally praise him because he's a smart kid. And he probably listens to obviously modern music. I don't know what your average 19-year-old kid listens to. Is EDM still big with the kiddos? I don't know. I honestly don't. I spent the morning listening to fucking jock jams. You know why? Because I went and pulled up Jock Jams Volume 1 and Volume 2 on my phone today because I wanted to make a list for this show today. Because my request here, as the Spurs get ready to announce a multi-hundreds of millions of dollars in value deal with Frost Bank here in a minute, as they get ready to introduce Victor Wembanyama to the globe here with the season starting in a couple of months, my request for Spurs Sports and Entertainment, this is no shot at R.C. Buford. I support you, R.C. You know I like you. Can we get the music at the frickin' arena updated once and for all? I can't tell you what an ass whip it is to go to a Spurs game in the 2020s, and I got, y'all ready for this? Back me up on this.
They're still playing that?
Dude, our music's shit.
Are they playing the
Maybe
Montel
not.
Jordan Spurs remix too?
Probably. You know, and 15 years ago, everybody get crunk, bumped, bump, no. 15 years ago, that was badass. We need to update the music, man. I don't know if they played Y'all Ready for This, but I feel like I've heard it.
I believe
I feel like I
the
have.
person responsible for the in-arena music is somebody named DJ Quake, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken.
All right.
So
Well-
we need to talk to him.
Okay, well, you know what, dude? I'm going to write his name down. DJ Quake. Quake?
Yeah, like
Is he 70?
yeah, like QU, like earthquake. But
Right,
Quake,
I got
yeah.
it. But is he 70? Because the music he plays is for 70-year-old people who, when they're 30s back in 1991, liked stuff like Whoop, There It Is. I think I think in the last, and again, I haven't been in 2 years, but I used to go all of the time. And even in 2019, when I was, the last time I went a lot, I was still hearing, strike it up. Remember that shit? You're a little younger than me. I don't want to hear come, baby, come, baby, come, come, come. Because like a lot of times what they'll do, like when they'll bring the ball down the floor, they'll play a quick hip-hop tune, right? And then and then as soon as the guy takes a shot, they'll cut the music off and then see if there's a rebound or not. They do that.
I'm with you that some of the songs they need to retire.
Some of them gotta
they have
go.
like some that they use as a crutch, like the Gary Glitter song. Like that's got to go. Like
I agree. Oh,
you
yeah,
know
yeah,
what that
yeah.
guy did? Yikes!
I do know what he did. I know what he diddled too. Little kids. Not to be weird, but it's true. I don't want to hear "It Takes Two to Make a Thing Go Right" at the Spurs game anymore. I don't want to hear Tootsie Roll. I don't want to hear "Everybody Dance Now." Bang, 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 bang. You know, I don't want to hear it's getting kind of hectic. Fuck that. I don't want to pump up the jam. I want some new shit, even if I don't like it. The Spurs are going to get on national television a whole bunch. We got a shiny new sponsor in Frost Bank. We got Victor Wembanyama. I don't want to hear, I like to move it, move it, move it. Is it the Chiefs? I think that still do whoop, there it is. I think the Chiefs still do that at Arrowhead Stadium. Now, I don't want to piss off your boy DJ Quick. Do you know the dude? Because you sure dropped his name fast.
It's not the infamous DJ Quick of.
Oh, did I say Quick?
Yeah,
See,
you
I got
said
my mind
Quick.
stuck in the fucking 90s because of the Spurs.
Not the famous
Quake. Not that.
Of that fame, yes.
My brain's on the. I'm going to go listen to like death metal the rest of the day to get whoop, there it is out of my head. DJ Quake.
Yeah, Quake's the in-arena DJ. I'm pretty sure that's
all right.
I mean, he was last year, so I'm pretty sure he still is.
I want before I already criticized him. I want to backtrack for a moment, and I'll say this about DJ Quake. Maybe he's being told or highly encouraged by others on what to play for the old folks that bought season tickets. But remember there was an article in the paper. The Spurs told the Express News, gosh, a few weeks after we won the lottery, and it was apparent we were going to get Wembanyama, that season ticket sales had obviously gone way up. There was a line to buy season tickets, and they had a record number of millennial and Gen Z season ticket holders that bought tickets. They don't want to hear CNC Music Factory. They don't. Not only do they not want to hear it, they don't know what the hell it is. So we don't need that. We need to update the music. And God forbid they ever get decent halftime shows. I'm probably going to get lambasted over there. I don't care. Remember the halftime shows?
What, the Asian girl with the plates
we don't
stacking?
Do that.
We don't do that anymore?
No, they did it like once ever. I would love to have her back. It was fucking awesome. No, dude, you haven't been in a long time. The last time I was gone on a regular basis, it was, hey, we got Espinosa Elementary School, and we got the choir, and they're going to sing, and they're 7. Isn't that cute? And you can't even hear them because it doesn't cost them anything. They're rolling out, Spurs Jesus to toss rings.
They have rolled out the little Tejano kid a lot. They've overused that
Sebastian?
guy. Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Right, because he'll do it for free, and he lives down the street, and it's easy. Let's stop mailing in the halftime, too. I want good halftime shows now. We're getting big time again. And I know we don't want to lose our quirkiness. We don't want to lose our puro. I don't want that. There's a balance, though, between puro San Antonio and keeping your quirkiness. And there's tradition. I don't want to kill it all. But tag team ain't it. Isn't that who played the damn Alamo Dome last year for the 50th anniversary game? It was fucking tag team. That ain't it. Look, I know you. I don't want to go get. You're not going to go get Wu-Tang probably, but not tag team. Let's find some happy medium here. Open up the budget just a skosh, just a little bit. I know you made a lot of money in television revenue last year. It doesn't have to be every night's epic, but let's avoid the let's bring on bring on animals. Have dancing dogs. Even that would be better than some of the crap we've been getting in recent times. All right. LG sent me something he wanted to get into last night regarding a Houston rapper who, by the way, would be a badass halftime performance, I should say. We'll talk about her in a minute. But we have a guest, man. Let me set up our guest. So the San Antonio Film Festival is up and running this week. And by the way, this segment brought to you by R&R Auto Glass. They are easy to locate right by the airport at 281 in Tacoma. They take all insurances, so no matter what you've got, they got it. Locally owned, of course, by little San Antonio people. UTSA season ticket holders over there. They're fast and easy to find and fast. So when you get in there, you're not having to wait 3 days for your car's glass to get fixed. No Ubering to work, no carpooling. You'll be in and out of there today, and make sure you mention me. It is the Taylor Especial at R&R Auto Glass right by the airport at 281 in Tacoma, R&R. Okay. On Saturday, we've got our big raffle at the Ringer, and I'm going to be dressed up. So I'm going to look. I might look like a game show host running the raffle on Saturday at the Ringer. But the reason I'm going to have to dress up because I got to go straight from the raffle to the Tobin Center. Because on Saturday, and as part of the San Antonio Film Festival, which is now, as I said, gotten up and running this week, on Saturday night there's going to be a documentary that runs, and it's so cool that it's at the Tobin Center. I've only been to the Tobin Center once. On Saturday night, I'm going to go watch the last issue. The last issue is a documentary that a guy that I know a little bit made. And it is the story of La Prensa, the former Spanish newspaper in this town that my girlfriend happened to be the publisher of at one point. Her parents, of course, resurrected La Prensa years and years ago, brought that thing to prominence. It was a very special thing we had at the city. And the paper closed, I think, in 2017, 2018 in that area. And during those last days of the paper, Nina, who was then the publisher, allowed a guy called Mery to follow her around and roll on the life of the paper. And it turned into him winding up rolling on the closing of the paper. So on with us now is a guy called Nick Mery, who I know through Nina. He is a Lebanese-American filmmaker from San Antonio, Texas. And a fish taco enthusiast, apparently. Is Nick ready to roll? All right, bring me the head of Nick. Nick, can you hear me, dude? Hey, man, how are you doing?
Anytime I get to see you, Mike, I'm doing great.
All right, well, thanks for doing this on short notice. I was going to have Nick on tomorrow, but he's like, dude, I got to move. Why are you moving? You get kicked out because you're a struggling filmmaker and there's a writer's strike, or what?
Quite the opposite, Mike. I'm actually in a moment of prominence, and I'm moving into
boy.
a home. Yeah,
nice. Okay, my bad.
You know, I'm one of the fortunate few that bought a house in 2020 when inflation rates actually made sense.
Right on.
And
okay.
And then I immediately was given an opportunity to move out to LA, and so I rented the house out.
Okay.
That about a week later, the opportunity to move to LA fell through. I then no longer had a home, and so I lived on my parents' couch for about a year, and I have slowly built myself back up, and that lease is now up. And so I'm moving back into the house that I own and have not seen or stepped foot in for years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, do you need some help? I'm available after about 11 tomorrow. Are you good to go on the move?
Mike, I need to, it's going to be me in the house. The things that I do when I get in there, I don't want an audience for it. All right.
You don't want me seeing what you're taking in there. Okay. I got it. I understand.
Exactly right. So, but there will be fish tacos soon. And then of course you'll be invited.
All right, cool. Well, look, I met Nick through Nina, and she had told me about you, and we went and had lunch with Nick, 6, 7, 8 weeks ago now, maybe 3 months ago now. And Nick let us see the documentary, and it was all I could do to not tear up right there at that Mexican restaurant, man. I first of all, thanks for doing it. It's super cool. And now that I'm a small part of Nina's life, I was so touched to see it. So I can't wait to see it on a big screen or however it's going to be shown on Saturday. Let's start. Let's get into that. So First of all, I guess why did you decide to? Well, tell me the story of it. 'Cause this goes back to what 2016, 17, something like that. Why did it? Did you know the paper was going to have its last days when you decided to roll? Is that the reason you did it, or did that just kind of happen? Tell me the story of actually deciding to do a documentary on La Prensa.
Yeah, the truncated version of the story is that I had been living in Los Angeles and working in the film industry out there, and through a death of the family and my family, I actually came back to San Antonio pretty quick in 2017, and was looking for opportunities to use my experience. San Antonio kind of famously lacks what I would consider like a real infrastructure for a lot of media.
Sure.
It's not Hollywood, right? At no fault of its own, but it's not kind of a major player in that sense, right? So I was looking for opportunities to just sort of use the skills that I had, and Nina had already sort of started to wind down the paper, but I think that she was still sort of clinging to it in that sort of like the captain on the Titanic way. Like she was just still at her posts, like watching the ship go down.
Right.
And I just kind of floated the idea to her, hey, why don't we just give you an opportunity to say some final thoughts for like a social media post, right? Like didn't have to be anything more complicated than that.
Yeah.
But the moment that we walked in, and I brought one guy with a camera. His name was Kevin Barton, who's the primary cinematographer on the project. And we showed up and just kind of started rolling, and that quick conversation turned to hours, which turned to weeks, which turned into really like months of listening to Nina tell the story of the paper. And then of course, we go to her mom, and then we're listening to the family talk about it.
Yeah.
And then that's when we got the mayor involved, and then it's like other employees. And suddenly like you realize very quickly that La Prensa is so much bigger than the basic summary of like a local paper. It's a pillar in the community. It has a life all of its own that has affected so many people that it was really impossible to keep the story short, right? So what was supposed to be a very simple little day's worth of filming turned into months of just and not even as much as wanting to get a project done. It just became so engaging on my end to keep hearing more people talk about how positively the paper had affected them. So I could still be filming about it, and people still tell me stories when they know that I'm doing this project. Everybody has a La Prensa story and how it was a positive influence in their life, which is such an anomaly when you consider how media has what role media plays now. It's so divisive, right? A project with the intention of only creating positive stories is something that's so desperately needed now. And I think it's so beautiful that it has been serving that function for so long.
All right, dude. So I'm out of order, but I'm going to go ahead and do this now. We're going to play the trailer, and then we're going to talk on the other side. This is the trailer of the last issue that Nick made.
I've always said that I'm a bloom where you were planted kind of girl. To me, San Antonio is a pay it forward kind of city. To me, San Antonio is home.
One of the most important elements of making sure that all people have a seat at the table is to make sure that all languages are represented. And so La Prensa, during its entire history of publication, provided that role for our community.
There are people who have no idea how to operate the internet, and La Prensa was the only thing that they could pick up to learn something. It was an institution of San Antonio, apart from being a newspaper.
I don't even think I'd be the person who I am today if it wasn't for La Prensa.
All right, so the entire documentary is going to run Saturday at the Tobin Center. Dude, again, when I saw the documentary when you showed it to us, obviously I know Nina, and I was stunned, but just like trying to take myself out of being her boyfriend and knowing her, dude, it's hard to even explain. Like, it's a story of not just the closing of a paper; it's a story of a familial legacy that had a massive impact. And you alluded to that before we ran that trailer, dude. You stumbled into something special for sure.
Well, first of all, I mean, I appreciate, of course, like anybody that takes any of their precious time to watch anything, right? Our time is so valuable now, and there's so many things that are pulling our attention in different directions. So to get you and Nina in the parking lot of the Mexican restaurant to sit in my car and watch it, that's a core memory. I'll hold on to that.
Yeah, it was amazing.
At the end of the day, Mike, and I think you would probably know this from your many years of interviewing people, the facilitator of the sort of like spotlight on a subject at the right place at the right time, pointing the camera or the microphone or whatever at the subject of interest, right? So like the documentary is good because the subject was good, because Nina was so vulnerable and allowed us into such an intimate space, and because the legacy of the paper is so impactful, and because the people who care about the paper are so genuinely supportive of it. That is the strength of this project. I just think that I was, lucky enough to point the camera in the right direction, honestly.
Are you nervous about how it's going to go? I guess that's a stupid question, but I guess all filmmakers are always nervous, and because I think it's great, but you can, just because I think it's great, what do you think? I think it's great. So are you nervous about how it's going to get received?
Let me tell you this, and I mean this 1,000% from my heart. The only person that it mattered to me what they felt and thought was Nina.
Yeah. Oh.
As the representative of the project and the person who is the subject of this documentary, if Nina didn't like it, the film would not be playing this Friday. It simply it wouldn't have a reason to exist. It only matters if it serves the family and Nina in particular for its existence, right? So Nina gave me the blessing to play it at the festival, which is why it is playing. But I'm not concerned about whether or not people are going to like it. It's La Prensa is too strong of a subject for it to not, I think be appreciated to some degree.
Right. So I'm going to circle back to the first question. Like the answer is like, because I saw that you wrote somewhere this was a passion project.
Oh, well, what do we get paid now? I'm not. When does that come into
No, everything we do, but like for real, it's like you could have made a film about anything. Was there a certain thing about that story, or like what was that day? Or that this is what I'm going to do. You didn't have to make this. There's anything you do is a passion, but why that? Why particular this?
I think, man, this is going to sound maybe that I'm repeating myself, but like Nina is a very dynamic person. And Nina's situation having to put the paper down in the wake of her father passing, for any fan of not just documentaries, but like human interest stories, it's like that in itself is a moment in time that matters to San Antonio and the culture.
Yeah.
Nina being as sort of like dynamic and inviting as she is was what turns it into something special, because it's through her lens that you're seeing and experiencing everything that's in the film. So it's really like a perfect storm of opportunity to do something worthwhile as a project. That's about as deep as it has to go. Of course, it's a passion project, and I have released other projects, but in my opinion, this just happened to be not only, like I said, a project of value because of the situation and the timing of it, but also it is exactly. I think that it focuses exactly on the type of topic that I am interested in right now, which is the effect of modern media and the changing landscape of it and the role that it plays in all of our lives. We can't escape it now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so to see a paper falling by the wayside for really no other reason than the inevitable shifting of time and change,
Sure.
the evolution of media, just sort of like it passed up the dinosaurs, just like it will for all of us eventually.
Sure.
I was just fascinated by it.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I'll see you Saturday. I appreciate you doing this, Nick. Thank you, man.
My pleasure, man.
All
Thank
right,
you
dude.
always. Super big fan and can't wait to see y'all Saturday.
Thank you, man. All right, man. See you Saturday. All right, cool. There's Nick Mery, Lebanese American, San Antonio born filmmaker who did the last issue. And I got to say, that was hard to have him on because this is really personal for me, just being Nina's dude. And and I can't wait to go and see it, and it's super emotional. So anyway, I'll show you the whole thing when it comes out, dude. It's really good. It's not terribly long. It's like I think it's under 20 minutes, but super good. So it's called The Last Issue, and it was cool that he worked his butt off on that thing for a long time to get it done, and finally it's done, and there it is. Okay, so let me ask you this. Am I not allowed to book an actor? I can book a filmmaker or a documentarian these days. These are weird times for
I think the rule is you can book an actor as long as they're not promoting something that a studio has made on your show. They can talk about past stuff as long as like the studio's not currently pushing something that they're in. I think that's the loophole. I'm not sure.
Okay, and this is a documentary too. But still, so there's no actors, but there are writers and producers and directors like Nick.
Oh, yeah, but Texas is a non-union state. So.
I see. I guess so there's your loophole. Down here in Texas, we don't do no goddamn union. So wait, does that mean like Woody Harrelson can do a movie in Texas? He's going to get his ass chewed out.
I'm pretty sure
I'm
pretty sure he's a member of SAG.
I was going to say,
I'm pretty sure he can't.
That's universal. I don't know shit about the movie business.
Yeah, but if you're a local indie guy, it's
okay.
It's
right. You see,
you don't get all the protections of the union.
Yeah, I think I saw a story this week where I think it was Brad Pitt he's doing a movie overseas and was going ahead with production and was getting just annihilated by people back in Hollywood. And I think this week Pitt took a knee on it and has decided to cease production for now. I haven't been able to see any of my shows this year. Things have not been updated. You keep up with this a little more than I do. Where the hell have we made any progress on the Hollywood writers' strike at all?
They're supposed to reconvene. They've planned another meeting, but no, there's no progress has really been made. No,
pretty crazy. All right, and it's easy to make. It's hard to have a ton of sympathy for a bunch of millionaire and billionaire Hollywood glib type people. But I'm starting to miss some of my shows now. All right, so it's The Last Issue that Nick did that runs on Saturday night at the San Antonio Film Festival at the Tobin Center, and that was cool to have Nick on. Okay, segment brought to you by HardwickMortgage.com, the official mortgage company of Thunderdome. If you're thinking about upgrading and wondering how you can afford a home or how much you can afford to put down on one, call to get pre-qualified with our dude Brad Hardwick at HardwickMortgage.com. Home values have gone up way significantly over the years. You can take equity in that house and do whatever the heck you want to it with it. Pocket the cash, get out of debt, whatever it is. Maybe you're in the market to buy a home. You got to have a mortgage guy too for that. And Hardwick Mortgage, they can and they will shop across multiple lenders to get the best deal. Maybe you're just looking to buy some land. It is Hardwick Mortgage, the official mortgage dealer with Thunderdome. Hardwick Mortgage. The information is presented for informational purposes. This is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Information and or dates are subject to change without notice. All loans are subject to credit approval. Other restrictions may apply as a result of refinancing. Your total finance charges may be higher over the life of the loan. Visit hardwickmortgage.com for more information. It is Hardwick Financial Services in MLS ID 1972012. It is Hardwick Mortgage. Okay. LG sent this to my attention yesterday, and I found this in page 6 of the New York Post involving Houston's own Lizzo. And I have defended Lizzo to people that I tell you this, I would much rather hear Lizzo's tunes during the Spurs games than fucking CNC Music Factory or anybody else. Like Tupac, okay, cool, that's different. Tupac's transcendent. CNC Music Factory ain't. So whatever you think about Lizzo's work, okay, dude. See, you're going to make me be bad too. Whoa. Why do you got a fat shame, folks?
Oh, wait.
No, she ain't just fat. I mean, her hair follicles are obese.
Was she a great big fat person?
Okay, God. Oka, uta, puha, solo. Okay, page 6. You know what? To hell with Lizzo. You know what? To hell with it. If half the shit I just read in page 6 is true, then she deserves to get made fun of. Page 6, the truth really does hurt. 3 of Lizzo's former dancers are suing the Good as Hell performer, as well as Big Girl Big Touring and Shirlene Quigley, for allegedly subjecting them, her dancers, to endure weight shaming, sexually denigrating behavior, and pressuring them to participate in disturbing sex shows. So according to page 6, Lizzo has been making her crew members of her touring dance troupe do a bunch of god-awful things they didn't want to do. The plaintiffs filed a lawsuit this week, and they say that they were eventually fired by Lizzo and her folks because they refused to do some of the things that Lizzo wanted them to do. While on a concert trip with the Grammy Award-winning artist, according to page 6, to Amsterdam back in February, these former dancers of Lizzo say that she invited them out for a night on the town. And they wound up in the red light district in Amsterdam. That's a place you've been before, is it not, DJ LG?
I have been there once, yes.
Just to observe and be a tourist and take it all in.
Of course, there's a really cool like vintage arcade in the
okay,
and there's a really cool radio station too, the red light radio.
So it's not just debauchery.
Oh yeah, it's all debauchery.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
but
exactly.
you were just there to take it all in. You weren't there to put.
I was there for
it in.
research purposes. Yeah,
Research purposes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Did you research any Vajiji? It's a big no. It's a big no comment. All right, so we all know, look, the red light district is known for its sex theaters, sex shops, sex clubs, swingers bars, prostitutes. Nudity is full display. You go down there for funzos. You go down there to get loose.
We love you long time.
So the lawsuit states, quote, things quickly got out of hand. Lizzo began inviting cast members of her crew to take turns touching the nude performers, catching dildos launched from the performers' vaginas, and eating bananas protruding from the performers' vaginas.
Oh, wait.
Well, at least she was making them eat healthy food out of the vagina, right? Trying to find the positive spin.
Yeah, it depends on the most recent test how healthy that was, actually.
I think I'd rather eat a banana out of, well, yeah, it depends on the test. I think if I had to choose, I might choose a whore on the red light district over the chon-chon of Lizzo. Just saying, if I was forced to do so. That is obviously so over the top. That is unbelievable. The suit says that Lizzo pressured them, goaded them into doing this, and they felt like their gigs were on the line if they did not participate. Basically treating people like subspecies humans because they work for her. Good Lord. At one point, according to one of the plaintiffs, she had no choice but to, quote, soil herself on stage. What? During an excruciating re-audition featuring the repercussions of excusing herself to go to the... So Lizzo literally made them dance till they shit themselves. God. That is over the top.
She sounds like a fun time.
No, I draw the line at forcing folks to shit theyself. Or chomping on bananas out of a GG's. I ain't doing that. Come on now. I don't mind. Look, I'm no prude, but I ain't eating no banana out no twat. That's crazy. Not unless I want to. You can't make me do that. God damn. That's ridiculous. Clearly, but Lizzo needs to, is she going to get canceled? Fuck no, she ain't going to get canceled. This is also on the heels, by the way, of a documentarian of all people, who was following Lizzo around and was shooting her life and was going to do a story on Lizzo. The documentarian quit like 3 weeks ago. This filmmaker in L.A. came out and said, the reason I quit is because Lizzo's a fucking cunt. Lizzo's a horrible human being, and just slammed Lizzo, threw her under the bus. Not that she fit under the bus. She tried to throw her under the bus, and she got wedged. So, but no, this woman's like, yeah, I can't work with Lizzo. She's nuts. She's a tyrant. Basically, they're painting her worse than like Ellen DeGeneres treated her crew during that on the Ellen television show. That's ridiculous, man. All right, did I get enough sex jokes in for you? Can we move on? God almighty.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go get some bananas after this.
Gross. Lizzo, would you? Be honest. She's famous.
I give it my best effort.
You might fall in there and we might never find you.
I
have to
give
find
it
a
a try.
Sherpa in there to find your ass, or a Saint Bernard. God almighty. All right, that's gross and disgusting. And all right, this show's also. I'm so sorry. I gotta segue to the youth soccer club now, dude. I need. Get the fuck out of here. It's my night. Show also brought to you by the San Antonio City Soccer Club. We need folks to put their names on the fields for the kids. For the kids. They got over 1,500 players in the San Antonio City Soccer Club. And we got a bunch of fields up there that are set there beautiful, ready to host tournaments, ready to get people into those games. Thousands of people will watch those games this year, and they can see your company right there flashed on one of the signs on one of the fields. Go on there and get yourself some field naming rights. Get a hold of me. Get a hold of them. DM me, and I'll point you in the right direction if you have any interest in finding out what it might cost, what it entails, and what you're going to get for sponsoring one of the fields. Field naming rights, entrance signage, field banners. You'll get love on websites, and ours too. You'll get social media endorsements from their social media and ours too. Marketing material, displays for your office, all kinds of stuff. Help us help the kids here at Thunderdome. It is the San Antonio City Soccer Club. Message me if you have any interest at all in helping us with a sponsorship for one of these fields. All right, it's Mike Taylor Live. Subscribe to us. Become a member. It's only $6 a month to become a member. You can jump in there and shoot us a tip through in the Super Chat if you want to. You can tip us.
Come on, you. Cough up a bucket, cheap bastard.
You can tip us at buymeacoffee.com/Mike Taylor Live. All right. Andrew on the West Side's in here. Can I get a late punch in for my boss, who also employed my grandfather until 2 weeks ago? And one of the reasons my grandfather was let go was because he was having some issues keeping up with technical changes at the office. While I understand that, he was not patient at all with my grandfather and told me, quote, he needed educated people. Good Lord, Andrew. P.S. My grandpa's one of the most intelligent men on the planet, but no, he technically does not have a college degree. Punch the boss of this asshole. I don't want to give the name of the business. Golly, because Andrew still works there. Jeez. Probably 2-3 weeks ago, I want to say I read in the paper, the San Antonio Express News. I think it was Shepard Price who writes for the San Antonio paper. He was writing about I think he wrote a piece on our city and how among the largest cities in America, San Antonio continues to be in the bottom 50% for most educated cities in the country. And I think a lot of that data is based on college degrees, right? And I'm glad Andrew shot that message to me, because that reminded me of that piece I read in the paper. I don't want to misquote, and I'm not bashing Shepard Price, the writer, but they had a breakdown of like percentage of people in our town that have a college degree. You know, that's fine. If you want to do data on who has a degree and who does not, that's fine. But what I would like us to stop doing, especially in these modern times we live in, and this just pissed me off, him mentioning what happened to his grandpa. We got to stop. I don't want to preach to people. I'm going to stop calling people with degrees educated, right? And I'm going to stop calling people without a college degree uneducated. just because you don't have a college degree doesn't mean that you're not educated. Some of the smartest some peaches I know, some of the most intelligent, street smart, book smart people I know, maybe didn't technically get a degree. Did you wind up graduating from Texas State? Did you walk the plank and get the paper?
Oh, yeah. I have a degree in mass communications.
That's okay. Have you ever been asked in your life to prove that you have a degree? Ever?
No, never. Not once.
No. I'm 48 years old. Never in my life when I got the job at the Ticket, when I was working at Mickey Dallas, I was working at Sam's Club in membership. I've done other stuff. I've never once been asked, do I have a degree? And thank God for that. Knock on wood, Hopefully I won't. Look, I get it. If you're going to become a teacher, I suppose having a college degree is a requisite, I guess. Although
I take that back. The only time is when I was a substitute teacher for like a year and a half for Judson ISD, which was terrible time.
See, I subbed while I was still in college, but I had a certain number of hours, and so they hired me because I had X amount of hours in college, and I was still in college, so I didn't get the full rates that you pay a college graduate to sub. I got like the second tier pay, which was cool, but I don't think that college degree, being educated, necessarily correlate for all. Okay, great, you got a college degree. I know some dumbass motherfuckers that got college degrees. They don't know shit about living in this world, don't know shit about interacting with people, don't know shit about, being accountable or just being a decent human being. And I know people that dropped out of high school, but, look, but they've evolved, they've grown up, they've busted their ass, they went to the school of hard knocks, got GEDs, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying I don't want to cheapen having a college degree, but I've bitched about this for a number of years now. The areas of expertise, the classes that you're forced to study in most universities in 2023, I didn't mean to go off on this tangent, that email pissed me off. College education, and here's the other thing. Not only have I not been asked if I have a degree, I've never been asked where I went to college. I went to 5 colleges before I got my degree, 3 junior colleges and 2 state schools. I went to Sam Houston State in Huntsville. I went to North Texas. That's where I got my degree, the University of North Texas up in Denton, and worked for the radio station KNTU. Don't call us KUNT. But no one's ever asked me where I went to school. No one's ever asked me to whip out my degree and prove it. And there's been a lot of political battles in the last few years in this country about whether or not to raise college, or like to erase a lot of college loans. There's a lot of controversy now with the Supreme Court deciding to end affirmative action in schools. And so I feel like a college education's fucking overrated. And I have one. Right? I have a degree. That don't mean I'm educated. I have a degree. So what? It took me 10 years to get one, and the only reason I kept getting it is because I just thought that I needed to have one. Because I was going to be a teacher at one point and thought, well, I got to get the degree. I won't be able to be a teacher. Outside of teaching, and I'm pissing off all my teacher viewers now. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I'm pro education. I want it to evolve. I want it to fix. I just feel like there's a lot of courses that you're forced to take in college that cost shit tons of money that you don't need. Certainly not to be educated. So we got to get out of this thing where I'm calling people that have college degrees educated people. Educated to me is a broad term that means a lot of different things. That's it. I didn't mean to go on that. All right. Show also brought to you by Elite Collision of Bernie. If you have a fender bender, you got a little knock in the car, some hail damage, some asshole hits you maybe some college degreed idiot hits you in traffic. And you need your car fixed. It is Elite Collision. They are absolute Poodle Thunderdome, family owned and operated. They're technically in Bernie, just about 10 minutes north of the rim off of I-10, exit 542. If you're in an auto accident, go to the longtime Thunderdomers to get your car fixed. Collision repairs, fender benders, hail damage. It is Elite Collision of Bernie. EliteCollisionofBernie.com. When your car gets beat, call Elite. It is Elite Collision of Bernie. Speaking of old school radio, remember the old school jingles? KVIL. Remember the old radio jingles? We got to get jingles on our show, man.
It'd be cool to have one, yeah.
I do love old jingles. I don't want to hear fucking T-Pain at the Spurs game, but I do like nostalgic music on occasion. Old radio jingles and such.
So yeah, we need a choir or someone who can sing that for us. So
right.
if you're out there,
yes,
do us a jingle.
Yeah, we need jingle. Mike Taylor in the morning. Something bullshit like that. I love that.
It'd be cool to have like a barbershop quartet type of jingle, like all harmonized.
Yeah, like the real high pitched guy, the middle guy, and the mer guy.
Exactly. Yes.
Been on the Northwest Side. Taylor, I appreciate your show. I appreciate the hustle. I'm sticking with you no matter what. Just don't go to prison so you can still do shows. Thank you, Ben. P.S. Y'all remind me a lot of Bill Maher. Oh, okay. Who I've not been able to watch all year because of that damn writer's strike, and can't wait to see the documentary. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that, man. I don't know. I guess you ever watch Bill Maher? You ever watch much of Bill Maher?
I've seen his podcast thing that he's doing now.
Yeah, that podcast.
I've watched like 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah, he just sits here and smokes. He literally smokes pot. Gets loaded and has a guest on, and they just shoot the shit about whatever. There's not really a plan. I'm honored you'd compare me to Bill Maher. It's silly to do that. I don't feel like I could even walk 1 second in that dude's shoes, but I love that show. I haven't been able to watch it all year because Bill decided to cease ops because they're in L.A. and they're all members of what you call it, SAG, and those writers are on strike, and obviously there can't be the HBO show. He still does his podcast, though, but he produces it himself, and there's no writing. You just sit down, and like I said, he literally pulls his pipe out, smokes, drinks, and shoots the shit with different celebrities about whatever. There's probably no question that I have, I take a lot of my influence politically, sure, from Bill. I would say in many areas, not all of them, but many of them. We're all these shows, and I'll get out of here in a minute because we've been on long enough. But all these shows are just a bunch. Every show you watch now or listen to is a tribute show to somebody who's come before you. Where I compare talk show hosts to like local bands. You're going to hear influences in me because I've listened to talk shows my whole life. You're going to hear a little bit of the people that I've listened to the most, that had the most, influence on me. I decided to become a talk show host because my dad liked talk radio, and I wanted my dad to love me. Not that he didn't. I'm just saying, if you want to get real Freudian with it, this shit goes back to the 80s, me riding around with my dad in his delivery van that he was driving in those days when he was a young man. And, little Mike sitting there bumping up and down with no seatbelt on in the delivery van across hot-ass metro sex car dealerships delivering chemicals to clean cars. That's what we were doing. And my pops would listen to K-Love, which was the oldies station up there. And then when they'd go to commercial, he would listen to talk radio. And my dad loved talk radio. So some of those early guys in the 80s that I listened to, and then as I got older and really started listening to talk shows, you're going to hear some of that. So sure, I appreciate the comparison, Ben, but you'll probably hear a little. I like Bill Maher. I like his style. Most of us talk show hosts are a bunch of copiers. Most of us need to put diapers on our mouths on occasion because of some of the bullshit that a lot of us spew. And this is the other, and I'll end it like this. Now, you cannot, this week is once again a reminder that you are not going to be able to please everybody. Ever. And I don't want to. I've said it forever. A good talk show host has both friends and haters. The best talk show hosts in America are all of them, universally some of the most hated talk show hosts in America and the most listened to and beloved. Love and hate are the friends of the talk show host. Indifference is the enemy. As former United Kingdom Prime Minister, was it Margaret Thatcher once said, if my critics saw me walk on water, they'd say it was because I can't swim. So no matter what I do, you're going to have people that hate you. And that's just how it's going to be. I can only be the people that have influenced me. I come from my parents that included my stepdad, Ernest, who went to prison, and all he left me and my mom and my sisters was hepatitis on the toilet seat. So thank you for that Thank you for that, Ernest. All right, today's show also brought to you by Live Oak Vodka, the official vodka of Thunderdome. Appreciate you, boys. 2022 champion, el campeón de vodka. Live Oak Vodka, they got a 91 score last year in the Ultimate Spirits Challenge. It is Beeville's own Texas distilled, the official vodka of Thunderdome, Live Oak Vodka. All right, thank you so much to Nick, Mery. That was a difficult interview for me because it's a very personal story, and I don't want to screw it up with my own words, and so that's how we'll end it. Thank you to Nick. Can't wait to see the documentary on that big screen at the Tobin Center on Saturday. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you see us on Saturday. We're going to be doing the raffle at the Ringer Pub over on Jones Maltzberger and Thousand Oaks. We're back in here tomorrow with the last edition of the week. Thank you to DJ LG and Thunderdome. Love y'all hard. See you mañana.
Come back, you puppy!
This program was made possible by contributions from viewers and listeners like you. Thank you.
This is a rock bound.